knowing nothing of what show you had prepared. So I'm just gonna wing it.
You and me both.
Está bien.
All right. Cue the music. And that's our intro, everybody. Thank you for joining us. The man that you see on your screen, you're familiar with, on this one with the green shirt. The other one, the guy that kind of looks like Rhino, is not actually Rhino. Actually, a real producer of the show, a guy that gives his hard-earned cash to us. Mystery Medic, welcome aboard, good sir.
Thanks for having me, Badger.
Now, we were discussing a few seconds before, by the way, cheers to you. We
Beer
have
for life.
no idea what we're doing tonight. So, whatever. I hope that you guys pack something for us, because we're just here. We're going to shoot the breeze. We'll call this the tinfoil hat episode.
Oh, who better than me and you for this?
We love the conspiracy theory edge, the alt-right thing. Yeah, Patty is saying that absolutely nothing is working, which is just standard for the show.
I saw something on Facebook. I think the Facebook Live worked for a second.
Oh, you know what it is on Facebook? You're still seeing the, what do you call it? Wacky thing until right now. All right, I got my YouTube chat up. I got the. All right. You were going on YouTube. All right. Let's see what I can scrounge here together. So, I wanted to go with something a little differently. What I was experimenting with for myself this week was trying to get like first party sources, the direct sources for stories. So I was going on a lot of the local government sites to see what they were doing and how it is that they're ruining our lives. And trying to discuss that, but I've had such a busy week. I've done nothing but go to work and come home and fall asleep. And then
Hey, it sounds like me.
Yeah, it's getting a lot harder to put up good quality information for the show, at least for this week. Hopefully, that's not a long-standing precedent. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to start with?
Well, just the ass clown circus that is the 2016 presidential election.
I thought you might want to do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to cue everything up, go with your notions and all that, or how do you want to do that?
I didn't even watch the debate.
Me neither.
Like I had no desire to see poop stain number 1 versus poop stain number 2, and it was just like, okay, again, it's like they're not gonna do anything for me. Neither one of them. In fact, they're gonna make my life more difficult.
More than likely, right?
in their own special fun time ways.
Uh,
So yeah,
I didn't watch it either. I mean, I wasn't around to be able to watch it live, but Patty was explaining to me on the way home. It sounds like whatever you already knew about them and whatever positions they already took, there was no new information offered. It doesn't seem like the needle moved if you were on the fence on either candidate that you were with. That they offered any sort of reason for you to jump on board with either Hillary or Trump.
really, the only way that Hillary wins is if Trump massively shits the bed between now and the election. He has to massively shit the bed to lose.
I was telling a few people that, and even a guy like Roger Stone, which was his Trump's campaign manager in '08, or was it the last time that he ran in 12? Anyway, a guy that has done a lot of political stuff for a lot of their, like, I think like five different presidents, five different Republicans that have run for president. He's been on their campaign in some form or fashion. That he's going, this is going to be really close. His contention is that he wants to watch out for the rigged election factor. So he's got that movement going. I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be close.
That's a massive amount of tinfoil. I mean, look, we know that some amount of tampering happens. The guy on YouTube that worked for the Florida elections, that wrote the software that tabulates the votes, he says, yeah, we can rig it. We can rig it from our end, and we can teach you to rig it from your end. And yeah, we can do it, but I can't tell you if I did it or not.
Right. It's
so we know rigging happens, but there's, I don't know. It's bad when Bernie Sanders has to go out and stump for Hillary to try and convince his supporters to vote for Hillary because they don't even trust her. Half of his voters don't even trust her. So it's like, okay.
This whole thing is a wreck. I mean, I've since changed my, ever since Trump made the that mandatory maternity leave thing. I'm out. I said I am fundamentally a libertarian. I cannot vote for a guy that promotes more socialized programming into our constructs here. I can't do it. So I'm back to being a free agent libertarian.
It's crazy the amount of government employees that are libertarian, and we just have to keep our mouths shut to keep our jobs.
Present company.
We have to hide our identities to keep
It's
our
true.
jobs. It's
no. I don't know, man. We're working it from the inside. I mean, I don't have it.
We're the gray men. We're the gray men in the machine. We're the guys that are like, when you call us, we're like, are you sure you really want to do that?
Yeah.
Do you really want the government to take that much control of your life right now? Or do you want to just settle it amongst yourselves?
Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. That was gnawing at me for so long, taking a job with the government. And I was like, oh, come on. Doesn't anybody want to hire me? That's not a government agency. And no, nobody did. And that was gnawing at me. It's like, okay, well, if because of the whole government equals force quote from George Washington, then why are you joining the thing that uses force in order to get its job done? And then I heard Ron Paul with Tom Woods, I don't know, within the last 6 weeks or so. And he said, no, I don't feel that way. I took a salary. It's written in the law that I had to take a salary as a congressman. And I just felt like since I paid enough of my fair share of taxes over that time, and I would donate a lot of my salary and things like that. So a lot of people feel that way, and people that end up taking socialized resources, like unemployment. I was on unemployment for a while last year, and I'm like, oh man, I am such a glaring hypocrite right now. I feel I felt I sincerely was depressed about it. Um, so I've been enlightened to that aspect of the argument, and it's like, yeah, if not me, somebody else that may not have the same view or the stances that I have, that is going to make the government even shittier of an organization, would be there. That's the possibility. So yeah, it's up to guys like us to go, all right, well, we're going to quell as much of the damage as we possibly can. No overthrow, of course, we're only individuals. But it's not going to get worse under our watch, at least. If you're speaking and I can't hear you.
8 most dangerous words that you could ever hear. I'm
What's
from the
that?
government. I'm here to help. You don't want to hear that. And people are just so coddled now, and they don't want to do their own thing. And that's kind of like why I like teaching people how to do their own things. And like,
Yeah.
do you really need to dial 911 for that? No. You can
mean for
drive
chicken
yourself to the
nuggets?
hospital.
When they tell me no to my chicken nuggets, I don't have to dial 911?
It's just horrible, man. And it's, I don't know, it's a sign of our generation that's, yes, please take my money. Yes, please keep the bad people away from me. Protect me. It's like, protect yourself, damn it.
Yeah. And that's something that's been so long, and it happened relatively quickly. You even read back to guys. I recently read a quote. I guess it was for Black Heritage Month. I read a quote from Booker T. Washington that he said to the black community. He wrote, "Look, anybody that pitches you that they're selling you a service in order to better yourself is actually keeping us down." There's a really famous quote about it, something to that extent, something along those lines that he says that it's like, beware the wolf that watches the hen house.
Yeah.
In essence, and in under 100 years, man, it happens so fast. Everybody just, it's astonishing to me.
We went from crossing the United States in frickin' wagons to safe spaces. That's how far we went.
In 3 to 4 generations. You're right.
You
Yeah,
talk to the safe space that somebody crossing the frontier had was maybe the inside of their wagon when it wasn't getting shot at by Indians or getting robbed by bandits. It's like,
yeah.
And now it's like, okay.
History via Looney Tunes.
Yeah, they were triggered when they were seeing their family getting scalped. That was their triggers. Seeing people. And now it's like, oh, I have to find out what sexual verb or noun to use for you to explain your genitalia or how you identify, because that'll trigger you. If you get triggered, it's because you're soft. I'm sorry. Man up. Woman up.
No, you're right. Look, labels are really important. That part, I think we agree with the social justice warrior side of it. But you have to pick a label and you gotta stick with it. This whole permeable membrane that they have, and is fully permeable. It's like, nope, I get to pick one of 700 classifications of gender in order to identify myself. And it could change tomorrow, and it can change by the end of the conversation. It could change by the end of this sentence, and that's where, when you have that shifting ground, it's like, we can't seriously accomplish anything this way. You understand that there are rules. The reason that your actual membranes that are holding in the fluids that are making you whatever gender it is that you're identifying with, there's a threshold for them, and at some point they all understand what their roles are, and they do them. And that's why it is that we're able to have communication among each other eventually, where we have back and forth banter. Sometimes on the internet.
Did you see the procession for Jose Fernandez today?
No, I just caught. I think it was late yesterday that they were doing it. I was confused until Patty straightened me out, or when I got home today, that I thought the viewing was going to be at the stadium, but no, it was at St. Brendan over there in Westchester.
Mm-hmm.
Wild ride. Were you a Marlins fan, or are you a Marlins fan in any way?
I'm a masochist. Yes,
Yeah.
I am a Marlins fan, and it's it's been really sad to see such a young guy kind of just throw away his or not throw it away, but lose such a promising life. That and the two lives that were with him, and it's nobody's saying what it could have been. Oh, it was an accident. I know a lot of people that have gone through that area, especially at that time. The rocks are there.
Hmm.
There's something happened that we're not hearing about. And then there's the bag of signed baseballs that they found and the text messages that were sent in between people that were on the boat and were not. And the pictures that were taken of that night, and the guy could barely stand and they're carrying him onto the boat or something. There's a lot of things we're not hearing that's probably getting brushed, like swept under the rug,
Right.
just to preserve this guy's image. And everybody's got a dark side,
Sure.
So I don't know.
No, he was no saint. He was 24 years old. He had a lot of money. And of course, you have to consider that angle.
And he's Cuban.
And he's Cuban, right? He seemed, he said all the right things, and I don't want to take away anything. I was surprised how moved I was by his death, and it was something that I didn't understand when it first hit me. I was sitting in this very room. Patty was just behind where the Mac is here, and let me set this up a little bit. I got a call on Friday. I don't know if you know our friend Alex.
No, I don't know, Alex.
He called me up and he goes, "Hey, one of my kids' godmothers, she won this ticket package to go sit behind home plate and have like this whole experience and wear your Animal Instinct shirt that day." He was really excited. Wear your Animal Instinct shirt. We're gonna be on TV. And you're going to throw out the first pitch. And I went, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. So he hangs up. Then he sends me a photo a few minutes after our conversation. And in there it gave, you won the Sedano's Diamond Club package, whatever it is. And here's what it entails. And you have the opportunity to throw out the first pitch. And you're going to have a meet and greet with Jose Fernandez. So then this hits on Sunday. Patty gets asked out of the blue, "Hey, what was the name of the player that you were supposed to meet tomorrow?" And I said, "Jose Fernandez, the star pitcher. He's dead." And I went, "What?" He goes, "He was found." And I had read. I got up late for me that morning. I got up like at 8:30, and I saw 3 dead in Miami Beach boating accident and. Just the typical reaction when I hear a boating death in Miami. It's like, oh my God, I hope that nothing stupid was being done or, Immediately though, of course, alcohol, right? It's boating accident in Miami, it's alcohol.
But that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Is you're drinking and that's what happened, man. But they're not releasing anything. There wasn't a tox report. FWC is keeping the investigation really close to their chest. I don't think they've got an official statement yet on their investigation. They're probably still investigating. And then,
And I hate that line. Oh, we can't say anything because we're investigating. It's like there's no law written anywhere that says you have to do. There's that speaks to that.
It was, and then I think it was the day before. The city of Miami's fire chief's godson gets shot at a wake.
It was his godson?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, it was in Brownsville.
Yeah. And that was close. That hit really close. I have family in the city of Miami Fire Department. So whenever you hear about, even if it's a line of duty death or not a line of duty death, when you lose a fireman, or a police officer or any first responder, it's rough. Because the way that those career fields work is like a family. So everybody knows everybody,
Yeah,
and everybody that I know that's in the fire department was posting like, "Oh man, this guy was so nice. He was awesome." Um, and it's just another senseless death in Brownsville.
it's astonishing. I mean, it was really. Or I get the news and I start processing after Patty tells me Fernandez is gone, and I went. The first thing that crossed my mind, I said, "Oh my God, his poor mother.
Yeah.
What must she be thinking?" And then I learned about his grandmother, that he called his grandmother the love of his life. And I grew up Cuban heritage, strong matriarchy, in my family lines. So
Abuela's the Rock, man.
Abuela's the rock, yeah. And so I don't know. I was processing all that. Mike, my son, is 24 years old. I processed that. I'm like, oh my God, what if all of a sudden Mike is gone and it's something tragic like that? So went into that whole rabbit hole situation, and I just start sobbing after a while. And I'm there going, man, look, this kid left this really shitty situation in a country that, just feel like they want blood from turnips out of every citizen in that culture in Cuba. He gets here, he does well, he assimilates with the culture here, learns how to speak the language proficiently well. For I thought, um, and then this crap happens, and then there's the other aspect of, like, the situation was like the one of the other pitchers was coming off the DL, so he got bumped. Fernandez got bumped to the next day, and what if that guy wouldn't have come back that day? He would have pitched on Sunday, which means he probably would have been in bed Saturday night and all that. So there's that whole aspect of it, and it's like you can't go there either, man. You're just gonna go mad.
You
Cause
can't escape the Reaper. When it's your time to go, it's your
yeah,
time to go.
exactly right. And I don't have any issues with that. But
You can still feel sad about it.
I really did, and I was sobbing like a child, when I was processing all that. To the point that Patty had to console me. I was really upset. I was taken aback, and damn, I forgot. Anyway, no, very touching, and I thought I was the only one that was going through that. As someone, I just knew him through the television. I never met him. Uh, really never identified that closely with him before that. But man, this guy was sports down here, and I never realized it until
Like
he
the
was gone.
Hispanics say, lo conocía de lejos.
Lo conocía de lejos, yeah. Um, so it was just very surprising for me, and a lot of emotions that came out. And then I see the national reaction, that everybody or many people had the same reaction that I did.
Yeah.
Uh, it was, and I was that was really touching. So Alex and I go to the game on Monday, and man, it's just flat there. Everybody's there, and everybody knows why they're there, and it just sucks. And the players, I felt so much for them, that they're like, yeah, we're here because this is a job that we have to do, and yeah, there's that cliche thing of, we're here for Jose. This is what he would have wanted us to do, and all that. And it's like, that sucks, man. It reminded me of a time, that footage that I saw after Kennedy was assassinated. The NFL decided to play football that weekend, and the footage that I've seen of the people there and the players were like, it was what are we doing here? This is stupid. We're not gonna get over anything being here. Um, and that's what it felt like. There was just this collective groan through in the stadium, and that the actions of the players was very touching.
Did you
I,
see the press conference for the Don Manley? He lost it, man. I think that press conference was a train wreck.
yeah, yeah. Samson held it together. Samson's a really intelligent guy. Actually, I've heard him on many interviews on the radio, and he's one of these guys that he like sojourns for spiritual growth and all that. He's Jewish by faith, um, but he's like the whole Christian ethic really interests him, and he forages into that area. At least in interviews that I've heard him with, and it's like, yeah, look, there was a lot of prayer here. This is not a clean cut situation. It's like people, guys grieve how they're going to grieve. Some guys were crying, some guys were laughing, some guys showed no emotion at all, and it's just gonna come in due time for everybody.
Here's how crazy Hispanics grieve and how Americans grieve. Have you ever been to like an American wake? It's a party. The American wakes that I've been to, it's a they call it a celebration of life, and people are crying, but people are laughing too because they're sharing stories, and it's like Cuban wake. Get ready to see everybody crying, nobody smiling. God forbid they catch you smiling. You're gonna get beat.
It was and that's something else. Alex and I shared. Fernandez's death took us right to our grandfathers, that they were such big baseball fans. So for whatever reason that was, so that got us going a little bit. But you're right, yeah. Your mention of the last funeral I was at my grandfather's a little over a year ago, and no, there were actually some people smiling there. Everybody was in unbelief. And there's this silly phrase that was being used. I saw it, I think, most prominently on CNN. Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez unexpectedly passes away. And I'm like, look, nobody unexpectedly dies. Everybody is expected to die. It's untimely, by your perception of when you expect to die, because he was young or whatever. He had his whole life ahead of him. Those things to me, I take them head on, and those are challenges that I have with Christians sometimes. Is that I'm a Christian that remembers that there is a book of Job in there that is probably the hardest book in the Bible for people to accept. There's like, stuff goes wrong, and the closest that God gave Job as an answer was, where were you when I was putting down the 7 pillars of the earth? Don't question my authority. And that's it. That's the answer. It's like, it's a question. And I went, paradox. Got it. Paradox is the closest we're going to get to a final answer. And those death is a subject that people don't want to touch. And I don't know why, because that is absolutely something that we all go through.
And it's something that I've seen in my work, that I remember the first time I saw somebody die on the job, and it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
But then when you see guy number 2, guy number 3 and 4 and 5 and so on, it's people ask, how do you deal with that? And it's like, anybody who says that they don't get bothered by seeing death in the field is a liar. And I'll say it right to their face. We all feel it in some way. Yeah. And how we cope with it might not be healthy, but that's why people in the medical field have such black humor. That's why we have such high suicide rates. That's why we have such high alcohol and drug abuse rates, is because imagine going to work and getting dipped into a vat of poop up to your neck, and you're there for 8 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. That's you. And then when you leave, your body has to decompress from that. And we all deal with it in different ways, but we all deal with it. I'll call anybody straight to the face. No, it doesn't bother me when I see somebody die. Oh, when they go, it's just, whatever. It's their time. It's like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Because at a base level, we're humans, and we're not supposed to feel good about that.
Right.
So Sorry, I just brought this thing way down, and I'm sorry.
No, I mean those are that everybody processes it differently, but yeah, the denial aspect is the one that's most offensive to me. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe he's dead. It's like, no, you need to accept that
Yeah,
he
except the
is
fact
dead.
that he is now in a box.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. He's
you
not
know,
coming back. Like the Annie Lennox song goes, "No more I love yous."
mhm.
Oh man. All right, let me see if there's something on the visitor posting here. I think that there was. So, well, I got through that a lot better than I thought. I thought I was gonna be a blubbering mess again, but like you said, once when you experience the thing once, it gets a lot easier.
Its shock value's gone, but it still affects you, man.
Yeah, yeah. There's it's gonna hit the people that decide to go to the wake now. I'm sure it's gonna hit them. Where are those posts? Man, I wanted to say, besides, thanks for supporting the show. I was listening to the show last week. It's back on iTunes, by the way. I'm gradually putting the older shows back on, but the definitely the last two shows that we did are on there. Man, our sound quality is really good, and I'm really impressed by that. And there are national podcasts that I listen to that don't have as good a sound quality as we do. So
That's kind of like the golden triangle of podcasting is you need good content, good message senders, and then a good medium. If you've got all three, you're good to go, man.
Yep.
There's when one of those is missing, it's kind of like, all right, the content might be really good, and he's got a great personality, but he sounds like he's talking to me through a tin can.
Yeah.
And then you've got those 5-star or 10-star, however they do their rating now on iTunes, podcasts that are super high production quality. They're not shilling for anybody. They do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You might not agree with their content, but they put out solid content, and the people are well prepared, great personalities. And if you've got those three, man, you can make it. You don't need, a huge budget.
No,
You
not
can
at all.
you can do this for $100.
You're not kidding.
You can do this for $100, and you don't have to buy new stuff, and you don't have to buy fancy stuff. You just have to do it. That's it.
I know. You just gotta show up, man. That's really the hardest part sometimes. It's like this week. I'm like, man, this is a tough week. But I just gotta put my face up there, man. That's all we gotta do. We show up. And we have really good banter. I was listening to that episode last week. We were talking about nothing in particular. But it carried. It kept moving forward, and I'm like, man, I was so impressed. And then we got derailed because something didn't work or some link wasn't or his communication went out, and then my damn internet wasn't working well, and the whole show like derailed. And then we were talking about freaking 8th graders from 1912.
I was at work the 2 days that you did those shows, so I haven't been able to listen to them yet, but that's a weird topic. 8th graders from 1912.
8th grade, yeah, we
Isn't that like the last grade they had back then? Like you were 8th grade and you went to college? Or you went to a field or a mill?
You learned how to farm during that time. It was we were talking about education, and I forget what context. Oh, I think because Lee County
Government schools?
Yeah, Lee County abandoned the state. What do you call it?
They dropped Common Core.
They dropped Common Core. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that, and we had prefaced that somehow. Oh no, it segued into me looking up a test from Bullitt County, Kentucky, that was published a couple years ago in commemoration of the feds having having funded education for 100 years, or having control of school curriculum for 100. And those
Hmm.
questions were hard, and I made some sort of comment like, and this is in Kentucky where we think it's like the most backwoods out of all the American landscape
They're shit
because
kicking tobacco growers, is what they are,
exactly, yeah.
and they were intelligent people.
And this was what, a couple generations after the Civil War, and they got that rep because of Hatfield.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh my god, look at these fucking crazy people. A portion of them seceded and they made a whole other state. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's how important property rights are, assholes. And I was thinking about that this week or the last couple of days. It's like this Black Lives Matter movement. Something has happened in the culture, and I guess because I'm listening to music more, and I hear the angry lyrics and the whole despondence in all this pop music, that is like, oh, I'm rich but I'm sad, kind of line that they're going with.
We're all fucking sad.
Yeah.
Get over it.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
What we have here is long periods of sadness interspersed with short bursts of happiness. And that's the human condition. Read some fucking Camus. Read some fucking Hemingway. Life sucks, but you gotta fix it for yourself. Either that or just going off yourself.
Don't start with Camus though. Like he's don't start with the absurdists. You'll get lost, and God, you'll drink the whole bottle of Tylenol.
Yeah.
But thinking about Black Lives Matter and how, or that's why I was listening to blues music, and that's the link, and I went, okay, and then black pop music today, it doesn't have the same quality. Everybody's pissed off or sad. And it's like these guys were actually in a really shitty situation. They were legally prevented from going to places that they may have wanted to go. They were 2 generations removed. Like their grandparents were slaves at most. Maybe even some of them had parents, because they're, depending on how far back you go in the blues. And these guys were still talking about having good times and frolicking around, and the womanizing is still there. That much does remain consistent in today's pop music. And I went, there's something that happened with the message. And again, going back to Booker T, it's like these guys were not dumb. It's like they are setting you up for failure. Do not trust them. And by and large, poor people did. Oh, trust us, just vote for us. We'll take the money from the rich people. You see, the money just has to go from the really rich people to the really poor people, and we'll be sure that happens. I'm not going to tell you, though, that I'm getting my middleman's fee.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I want to study that more, and there's nobody really on to. Hey, Leo's on. What's up, man? To wonder along with us on this line right now, what happened in the last 100 years?
It's like the soul of America is gone. It's still there's little bits of it, like you, me. We believe in the way of like our ancestors came here to do something better because in their country they had no rights. To this great place where we have a Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And our Constitution, which is like the basis of almost every other country's democratically, republicly elected constitutions, and it's like now we want to shit on it. These are like the people that move out to like Texas. They come from like I was raised in New York City, and they go to these small towns in Texas because they want to get away from it all. They want to get away from all the rules and this and then they get there and they're like, well, this guy next door owns horses and his horses shit all the time and it smells like shit. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to call code enforcement and complain. And it's like, the guy goes, you live on a farm.
Or not, even if it bothered him, at least confront your neighbor about it. It's like, hey, why is there
Oh,
shit all
they
over
can't
the
do
place?
that because they're
I-
crazy firearms owners. They're gonna shoot me.
I don't. I disagree with his stance, and I don't. I feel like I'm triggered by his horseshit smell.
I'm going to stay in my safe space until you handle the problem because you have a gun. It's okay for you to have a gun, but because you have all this awesome training and mistakes don't happen. You guys don't make mistakes, so we'll let you guys you handle it.
Oh man, I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, every generation has this question, right? It's like, oh, but the
What's
people
going to be
following
our legacy? The fucking safe space is going to be our shitty legacy.
it's forming to be that. It seems right, man. And the thing is that it's been a long time coming.
And you're a few years older than me,
Mhm.
but for some reason I'm considered a millennial, even though I was born in '86. Supposedly that's how it falls.
That's the
So,
hard line.
Yeah. It's like you're not an '80s kid, you're a millennial. It's like, but what? Why do I get stuck with these guys? These whiny, like, I want the government just to spoon feed me everything, take my rights, and give me protection.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna come of this. My sister-in-law, by the way, mystery medic, is also EMT up in Jasper County or Jefferson County, Alabama.
God bless her. A cheers to you, madam.
Both she and my brother-in-law are EMTs up there. They have a good old time apparently with the good old boys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same crap, man. It's like they tell the stories, and it's like I can just imagine that's exactly what these guys down here. She thought you might have been in the witness protection program.
No, close. My story is I work for a government agency, and I was told to not put my identity out on the internet, or I'd lose my job. So I was a paramedic, and I still am a paramedic, but now I've moved into another field, which involves both law enforcement and fire rescue. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I've got to kind of keep a low profile, so people don't come and tell me, "Hey, we saw you. Get out." It comes down to that.
Says your jacket has the patch.
It has the patch. Yeah, this is the station T-shirt for City of Miami Station 7 in Little Havana, which is on Beacon Boulevard and right by Miami-Dade College. It's on Beacon Boulevard, and I want to say 3rd Street.
Oh, by the Wilson campus you're talking about?
Is that Wolfen? That's on
Or the Little Havana?
by 27th and 8th Street.
Or what is it? Like the Inter-American campus or whatever.
Yeah, the one that like I've never seen people walk into.
Never.
It's just there.
It's right.
That's like the far west border of Calle Ocho when they have the stupid festival.
Uh-huh. I've never been to the Calle Ocho Festival.
I went there once. I was part of an entourage. Believe it or not. I worked with a guy. I used to work for hotels.com in a call center in Miami. And this guy was like a performer, and he was really bad. But he goes to me, "Hey, you want to go to Calle Ocho? We're going to go in a limo, and I'm going to perform, and I need somebody to videotape. Would you mind This is back when we had tapes in the recorders. Right. Videotape me performing." I'm like, "Sure, man, whatever. That's great." And we went, and I shot it. And then when we were going to leave, he hops in the limo, and he takes off. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "How do we get back?" "Oh, no. We're going to get a taxi back." And we had parked by 36th Street and 72nd Ave in Northwest. So I'm like, crap. Okay. Stranded in the middle of Calle Ocho. And but yeah, that's my Calle Ocho story. I've only been there once, and that was the last time I'm going to go. I probably went there when I was smaller, before it became like hazardous to your health to even walk down that area Calle Ocho.
I remember when that started. Uh, it was what like in the mid '80s at some point, and I guess a couple years into it, it really gained good traction.
The
And
Kiwanis really did a lot to
mhm.
make that thing awesome.
Oddly, there are no speeches at the Calle Ocho, from what I know. At least that's not a popular selling point about it.
Yeah.
Calle Ocho in the '80s, yeah, that was Patty is writing. My sister-in-law Laura, so you can wear that, just not show your face, but you're not.
Right, because
You
I'm
don't.
not
Yeah.
related to this department at all, so I'm good. I'm
Yep.
wearing it just as a symbol that I've got firefighter Chadrick's family in my heart, man. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know that was a tough loss for them. 2 years on, man. 2 years on, and he was gone.
Oh grief.
He had just gotten off probation, and yeah, that was it.
Oh my god. Yeah, and it wasn't even like you said, line of duty stuff. It
It was
was.
some idiot that shot up a wake.
I
But
know.
anyway,
And yeah, and again, the blues music that I was listening to earlier this week, no mention of wanting to kill anybody or anything like that. Weird.
and they
It's
think
like,
that law enforcement is bad now. They wouldn't have made it through Jim Crow Southern states back then.
oh my god, there's no way. Can you imagine a peaceful?
Peaceful protests back then were fucking fire hoses and guard dogs.
And listening to their actual leader, Martin Luther King, saying, "Be peaceful about it. Don't fight back. We're on watch. They're looking for any excuse
And they still got beat up,
to put you down." And they still got beat up.
but they took it like men and women, strong men and women, and nobody said to the white people that were there, "Oh, you're not allowed to do this. Your life doesn't matter. You can't protest with us."
Mm-hmm.
And the white people that were there were like, they weren't these beta subhuman people that hate their own race and feel that they owe something to anybody. I don't know shit to anybody. Neither do you or anybody watching this or anybody in the world.
Yep.
Okay? We come in here with a clean slate. I don't know you shit. All that I expect is respect. Just like I give everybody starts off with 100% respect for me.
Yep.
And then your actions dictate how high or low that stays.
Right. Seems reasonable, but then again, we're Westerners.
Yeah.
You're welcome, the rest of the world, for everything that the West invented.
I wear my privilege on my face every day.
Yeah. Yeah, in short. Patty is saying that Ayocha started in 1978. Wow. I didn't think it was that far. Okay. But yeah, exactly. The white people that marched with the Million Men with Martin Luther King. And remember, there was a march before the really famous one that went to Washington. I think there was another
The
one.
Selma March.
Was it Selma? Yeah. The Selma March that the police were like, yeah, make sure you fire into the crowd.
Yeah, they didn't care. It was like, we're going to read you the riot act to disperse, and then we're going to freaking get you.
And
that's it.
The white people weren't like, you devil other white people. I'm so sorry that I was born my color. I don't get it, man. And it was unifying. It was like there was a real galvanization of that movement in the civil rights. And politically speaking, it was Republicans that led it, and everybody forgets that too, or nobody mentions it. It's because LBJ signed the law, basically with a gun to his head. I forget the machinations behind the politicking behind that of why he signed it. He was going to veto it.
Plus, he was a white Southern Democrat.
White Southern, from Texas. And I forget why it was. I think he would have been overturned on the veto anywhere or something like that, or they gave him some sort of sweetheart deal. for signing it. And the lesser known, that was the more popular, the one from 1964 is the really popular one. There was a Civil Rights Act of 1957 that nobody remembers. That was the one that got the ball rolling. That was under Eisenhower. But
There was
nobody
a
mentions
president.
that one, because he was
There
a
was a
Republican.
president. Yeah, he was a great president.
I was
She's
thinking about
she's
him
trying to get you
today.
drunk.
What? Hey,
Is she trying to get you drunk, man? What are you doing, Patty?
during the show. Hey, come here. Oh my God, come here. The team mascot. Look over there. Yeah.
The most awkward look ever. She's like.
She's done. Yeah, she doesn't. All right. Thanks for playing. Oh man.
That's like when the Cuban parents put the kid on the phone. Póngale el teléfono. Póngale el
Dile
teléfono.
algo.
You're like, hi.
Pero habla. Pero di algo. Ese es tu tío de Cuba.
Yeah. Hey, did you see Snowden?
The movie?
Mm-hmm.
Or no? Is it worth watching? I mentioned
It
in one of the
rekindled.
recent
It rekindled my love of the Rubik's Cube.
of the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, man. I went out, and after I saw this movie, I'm like, oh, this guy got the SIM card out in these little freaking pockets on the Rubik's Cube, and I'm like, wow, what an ingenious way.
Wow. Yeah, that guy's super smart, man.
So there was these little guys right here. You see these right there? He pops one of these off,
Right.
shoves the SIM card or like the little tiny USB SIM card things
Whatever. Yeah, the jump
in
drive or
there,
whatever.
right? The jump drive in there, and it's like as he's walking out, he tosses it at the security guard, and the security's like, "Oh, look at me! I'm gonna play Rubik's Cube." And Snowden's like this. It's like, "Yeah, you dumb rent-a-cop." Yeah. I was like,
Holy
"Wow,
crap.
man, an amazing movie." And at the end, Snowden was part of this with Oliver Stone. He actually went step-ins. He was like consulted the entire time this movie was made. So it's really faithful to the true story of what happened to him.
Okay.
And I've seen the documentary that this movie is based on with Laura Poitras or Lisa Poitras, whatever her name is. And it's crazy, man. It's seeing like all this stuff that's going on. And it's like, okay, everybody forgot about Snowden. Everybody freaks out about Chelsea Manning because they're going to give her a sex change. I go, who cares? I see both of them as patriots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but Chelsea Manning released all. So what?
And it seems like Washington, or at least this administration, was softening their stance. There was some talk of extending a pardon to Snowden. And there's some nuance that I don't understand that I caught in the ether somewhere that was saying that some people were saying, no, you have to be charged with treason, which he hasn't been yet,
Right.
in order to then be forgiven. But apparently the president can forgive you for anything, whether you're charged with anything or not.
Can he grant you immunity?
I don't know. I don't know if he has that power, because that might be going into now the justice branch. And
He can overwrite the Justice Department. He just can't preempt the Justice Department.
Yeah. Right. Exactly right.
Thank you guys for giving us that, because one way to keep the dictators out.
Chaka says Rhino looks so much better. He looked like shit in the other shows. So whatever you've done to yourself, Rhino, keep it up. I know that you've been on the ketosis thing.
So yeah, I've lost about a foot in height. And yeah, the beard is fabulous.
Fear the beard.
This thing is so itchy. I'm dying. But it's the only thing that like lets me speak and not sound like garbage. because it doesn't cover my mouth. Or
Gotcha.
else I'd sound like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool.
um, which is said fuck Trump, so that makes up my mind of who I'm voting for.
At the end of the day, I'm voting for Trump just on the fact, and you can hate me if you want. He got the NRA seal of approval. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, they're a huge lobby, but so is the sugar lobby, and so is every other lobby. And I'm a member of the NRA, and I think that $25 that I send in every year for my, they used it right this year. They backed the right candidate because if you look at history, every time that a populace has been disarmed, the next thing that follows is genocide. Happened in Europe a lot. Happened in Cuba. It happened in Venezuela. In Venezuela, they're eating freaking animals out of their zoo because there's no food there. Way to go, socialism.
There was a they go like on dog hunting expeditions. I was reading from somewhere. It was a news source. I don't recall what it was, but no, it's there. Yeah.
But how are you supposed to attract dogs if you've already eaten all the dog food?
What is it? What is it about the Cubans that come here, or the ones that have established themselves since Fidel settled in, that they're like, oh my God, socialism, 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 and the evils of socialism, and Fidel's a bad guy, and they get here, and they apply for every social program that there is.
Because they're not dumb. They're not dumb.
I understand that aspect of it, but it's really disheartening that you leave that system, that you see it firsthand, and you go, well, yeah, but I want to profit from that. I'm not gonna, act. I'm not the guy in the uniform that actually takes the mouth or the food out of your mouth, or the money out of your pocket.
El cubano inventa. That's what Castro designed. When they made communism and their dirty form of communism, because it's not really communism. And there's a movie, a documentary on the guys that own classic cars in Cuba. And what these guys do to maintain their cars, and the work that they do. There was a guy that was making brake pads for these cars from the 50s, right?
Okay.
And he's mashing graphite and pure asbestos to make these brake pads. And they're filming him do this, and he's doing it without gloves, without a mask, without a respirator, without eye protection. He has a press. He pours the asbestos with the graphite in and presses the brake pad in.
Oh my
God. And the guy filming is like, you know this is going to kill you, right? He's like, but I've been doing it for so long, and this is how I feed my family. And he says it right there, El cubano inventa. He goes, if I don't do it, somebody else will.
Wow.
So they're fixed for the guy that's probably has about 30 years of asbestosis in his lungs. They buy him a respirator, and they give it to him. It's like, okay, so he's not going to use it because he's going to die from asbestosis anyway. But these guys kill themselves on this island, and they get a meager, whatever from the government. And then when they get over here, it's like, oh, so you're saying that I have all these rights now and I can still get supported by the government? Why wouldn't I take it?
Gotcha. Yeah,
there used to be a shame in being on government assistance. That's gone.
Yeah, that I've even heard Europeans speak to that. That it's like, yeah, it was like you were on the take. Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? What do you mean? This is for you. You don't need any help. You still got 2 arms and 2 legs. Get out there.
Right. That shame is gone.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. I hear more and more left brain people mention that aspect of the triangle. Yeah, the shame is gone. You're always like, well, it's just a little bit. It's not gonna hurt anybody. And meanwhile, your brain is actively shutting down because you stop using your full capacity.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna get hurt until you stop paying your taxes and they kick your door in and
Right.
take you to federal prison for tax evasion. Ask Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody stood up and defended that black guy against white power or white overreach. Yeah.
Yeah, all that money from Bowmaster, and he gets taken. He gets taken to the federal prison.
And Lauryn Hill was the other one. So
Couldn't have happened to a better guy. I mean, Wesley Snipes is awesome.
Yeah.
He just didn't pay his taxes.
Unbelievable. And that lesson is lost
Mhm.
on the entire culture.
Yeah, because taxation is theft at its very basic.
Yeah.
It's theft.
Yeah. And it's astonishing to me how people don't get to that concept. It's like, well, we need roads. And it's like, no, I understand, but
Somebody will build roads.
It should be appropriated.
They'll be built.
It will. And it's like, and I think Rhino, and since Rhino is on the roadways all the time, we talked about that. It's like, you get out. It's like the government doesn't build. You understand that the government, there's no such thing philosophically as the government. It doesn't actually exist. There's no such thing as a group. A group of anything is just a bunch of people that agree to do whatever that group sets out to do. So it requires the government taking from you and me and giving it to the group that will build the roads, because the government doesn't do anything except shoot people.
Because we let them shoot people.
Right.
The Mo Roads argument. My roads.
I
My
saw a meme
roads.
with somebody laying down and pulling up roads like a blanket over.
Yeah, right.
With my
Like-
roads.
Yeah, my roads. It's like in a perfect world, if you want a road, let's say I live in Kendall, and I got to get to Hialeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, my job is in Hialeah. I live in Kendall. Who else lives in Kendall that works in Hialeah? All right, let's get together and talk with somebody, and let's get a road built to Hialeah. That's how it would happen.
Yeah. And
That and money would make it happen. If I own a business, I want a road to whatever other roads that's out there so people can get to my business.
in short, and who knows? Look how before government got involved in roadway fabrication, everybody lived above where they worked. Everybody walked to work. Everything was available within a reasonable distance. Henry Ford created the consumer mindset, basically. Between him and Singer, the sewing machine guy, inventing credit, it was a lethal 1-2 punch. It's like, you want a car. Yeah, but I don't need a car. I mean, I work right there. It's like, yeah, but you want to go on vacation.
What are you going to do any days you don't work?
Well, I don't understand what that is.
That's right, because he was the first one to give people days off.
He gave weekends.
Yeah.
Weekends brought to you by Union. We talked about this a couple weeks ago.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You get a 30-minute lunch break, and you get 2 days off.
But I don't understand, Mystery Manic. There are laws in my state that say that they have to give me 30 minutes break when I work 4 hours.
You don't think that anybody in their right mind would work and not get at least 30 minutes to at least go to the bathroom, smoke a cigarette, and eat food?
Yeah.
That's like when we can get into the minimum wage argument from there. It's like, if we get rid of the minimum wage, they're going to pay everybody $1 an hour, and then nobody will work.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody will work. Everybody will be self-employed.
Chaka says everybody can walk to work, and it's called New York. And it's like, that's the image that I was thinking of. of all those Brookstones that you've got quarters
Well,
up above
imagine New
your.
York without its subway system and public transit system.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't walking that far.
Right. No,
And
but
that's
that's
it.
how it was.
Yeah. Before the subway and before the bus,
Yep.
everybody walked everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they lived above where they work. And that was I remember I was watching, what was it? The pioneering train guys that built the trains to connect the east and the west. Everybody that worked on the railroad lived on the Hell on Wheels style housing,
Right.
you know?
The
And they
makeshift
and they got
town.
paid their money, and then they got paid like company money that you can use in the company store, which is a freaking disaster. But yeah, that's the problem with capitalism. You get geniuses like that. Well, I won't pay them in dollars. I'll pay them in R&R Railroad dollars. Which is fine. That's capitalism, and that's cool. If you want to work for R&R Railroad dollars and you can sustain your life that way, that's cool. Give your worker an option. But the whole minimum wage thing, man, and I have this argument all the time with people. It's like, we don't need a minimum wage because then you'll actually get paid what you're worth.
Right. You earn your keep. And there's your
If
incentive.
if you suck, you're gonna get paid crap.
Yeah. No, listen, Rhino and I have this discussion every once in a while on the air. It's like, look, there's a reason that we're not getting paid. Capitalism is a cruel maiden. It's obviously something is right. It's like the easy part of what I can think of is, we're not masterful marketeers. Okay, fine. But it's there's got to be something else to this.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people equate capitalism with government, and it's two different things.
Yep.
We could have, our democratically elected republic, which is what we have. We don't have a democracy. Democracies are dangerous because one person is smart. A lot of people are stupid.
Hence, you get what we had here last week, which is the way you want it. Well, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Hillary and a Donald.
That was my favorite quote from Men in Black. It was the scene where K and J are talking in the car, and it's like, why don't you just tell people? People are pretty level-headed. You can tell them that aliens exist. Yeah, I can tell one person alien exists, but they're intelligent. A lot of people are stupid and crazy, and they'll do stupid things if they figure out that there's alien life. Every time I watch that movie, I laugh.
I've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen snippets here and there, like when it's on TNT or something like that, and I'm at somebody's house. Chaka says even without the subways and public transportation, you can still walk to wherever you want to go.
Oh, yeah.
Within the borough. Yeah, no, and that's the dream. I mean, and New York is a really old town. In Miami's what, 100 years old. So Miami is a post Civil War and post Reconstruction era. I guess everybody started moving south, once Atlanta stopped burning. They said, "Hey, what the hell is south of Georgia? Sugar and swamp." So Miami's a very young town, so that's why we have like this clean grid system. We were already with the modern transportation central planning system.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a link if you can play it. Tommy Lee Jones says that line a lot better than I do. Did you get it? It's in the Hangouts call. I sent it to you.
Monica didn't realize she drank that much.
Oh.
She's so confused. Glad to be of service. Let me see here. Oh, I'm not getting your link.
You didn't get it in the... I sent it to you in the Hangouts.
Oh,
in the messages. Okay. Did it not? If you click on where it says send a message, it says show messages. It'll show the 2 messages I sent.
Gotcha. Okay. Tommy Lee Jones say, one moment, please. That is golden radio right there. What just happened, folks?
What happened?
A lot of what the hell is this? Where is the thing? I can't see the thing. Come on, man. I was getting 10K. I mean, 10K.
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a
Nobody
colleague.
cares. See, Mystery Medic has
Do you not
YouTube
have
Red,
YouTube
so
Red?
this crap doesn't
Or
happen.
on
One
Facebook,
moment.
this
Here we
book
go.
all your friends will see.
All right. Tommy Lee Jones in 3.
Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow.
Knowledge bomb.
Yeah, man. From a fictional character about a B-list comic book. It's great, man. It shows the people that tell me that all the time. This is a democracy, so we can do whatever. No, in a democracy, you're a slave to the idiots around you.
Democracy is the tyranny of the majority.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. Hey, man, you do whatever you want. That's awesome. No. You don't understand. We need your money. This railroad is gonna get built.
There's this thing called the social contract, and
have you ever seen it? Because I haven't.
Oh man.
So the social contract. Yes, please explain it for the masses. We haven't gotten to this yet on the show at all. Remember, this is tinfoil hat episode, everybody.
Oh yeah, you guys are getting your fill of it. I'm surprised you have viewers right now. It probably wouldn't be that bad if I didn't have all this goofy shit on my face. But it just reinforces it. Like I'm the crazy hobo, crazy hobo prepper with like cases of ammo and guns and a bunker somewhere.
They got her jabs.
The social contract is the lie that the government uses to steal your money by saying, well, if you want services, you need to pay us for them. Basically. And if you don't pay us, we'll come and get it at the point of a gun.
Oliver Wendell Holmes said taxes are... What is it? Taxes? God damn it. I'm drinking too much. I'm forgetting my quotes. Let's see here. Oliver Wendell. Yeah, and we're talking about all this politically aligned stuff. As you can tell, everybody, the real Rhino is not here, but his stunt double is doing a fantastic job of filling in. And I would dare say doing a better slant on the stuff that I like to talk about.
I don't make it to Winwood as often as he does, so I'm not as hip as Rhino.
No, that's true. Oh God, there's a whole quote coming up on the Google line here. So we're doing all that because I keep getting from feedback from certain users, like the active users that follow us. Here, Oliver Wendell Holmes. Taxes are what we pay for a civilized society. That's his quote. Oliver Wendell Holmes is also the same Supreme Court justice that said you can't yell fire in a theater, and then after he's off the court, he goes, "Yeah, I got that one wrong." Bunker entrance behind the curtain wall, says Patty.
Partially right.
Becca just learned that the Earth is round.
Well,
I mean, look, can you blame
there's
him?
still
His
idiots out there
emoji
that
is
believe the
flat.
flat earther shit. That flat earther
Man.
shit is on. If you go into that part of YouTube,
Yeah.
you'll know you've gotten there when the flat earther shit shows up, and the chemtrail shit shows up, and the Illuminati shit. Once you see that triumvirate, Illuminati, chemtrails, flat Earth, you know you're in that part of YouTube.
Dude, speaking of Illuminati, we were staying up in Hollywood last month, so I was taking the train from downtown Miami up north to catch the Tri-Rail, and on Metro Rail, there's these two black guys having a conversation like you and I are, but about as far away as you and I are in one car.
Okay.
And speaking clearly, so I didn't have any choice but to listen to what they were saying, and their conversation got to the Illuminati, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking awesome. This is how the north part.
I would have
of Miami-
recorded it, bro. I would have recorded it and put it on freaking YouTube.
He's like, one of them said, that the president ain't got no real power, and I went, what? Wait a minute, are they going? Yeah, man. The other one goes, yeah, that Illuminati. And I went, yes.
It's happening. It's happening.
Oh, man. I'm like, Unity Boulevard people are speaking about the Illuminati.
Yeah, this is how far we've come in our society, that regular plebeian conversations on a subway are now about the Illuminati. They're going to flip their lids when the Assassin's Creed movie comes out. They're going to lose it. They're going to lose it.
I've never played through that game. I followed it mostly through video game what do you call it? Reviews.
Do you know the backstory of Assassin's Creed?
That
I can
it's
tell it
actually
to you.
like some sort of computer program or something.
Yeah, the way it works is there's this company called Abstergo, and Abstergo is this big multinational poly whatever company, and it's basically a front for the Knights Templar. And
Okay.
since they're the originators of the Illuminati and all this, shadow governments. So what they do is they go and they hack people's brains, kind of like the Matrix. But what they do is they hack your DNA, because the concept is that all the history of all your past ancestors is stored in your DNA at a
Okay.
biological level. So you can access their thoughts and their experiences through this computer program. So to counteract the shadow government, you have the assassins, which are, it's the good guys, bad guys, classic good guy, bad guy. But the assassins do bad guy things. They kill people, they rob, but it's the Illuminati, it's the Knights Templar, so we don't care. So that's the whole story, and it shows the progression of, it's a cool story, and there's actually a live action, some live action stuff on YouTube that they did for some of the games. That movie, it's going to be Michael Fassbender who's going to take the lead in that movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
As the assassin, the
lead assassin. I don't know who they're picking. There's about 3 or 4 main character modern day guys, I think, that were assassins that they had in the games. So I don't know who they're picking. If it's going to be Altair, which is the first assassin, which is a guy in like the Middle East. I don't know where they're going with this, or if they're going to France. It was been the Middle East, France, all these other places. It's going to drive people nuts. They're going to be, yeah. I'm just waiting for it, because we already get enough whack jobs calling my job as it is. This is going to be like the critical mass of nut jobs.
Critical mass is near and dear to us here on the Animal Instinct Show. And the next one is coming Friday, in fact. Day after tomorrow. Right? It's the last Friday of the month.
I don't know. I've never done that. There's something about being in big groups on bicycles in Miami that kind of scares me. Because their drivers suck.
And ignoring all the traffic laws while you're doing
Right.
it. Yeah,
But I consider it job security. So, yeah, go and be stupid on the road.
Remember, everybody, Critical Mass is going to be going around Miami somewhere, starting from some point. So be sure that you're there.
Yeah. And, well, they got the seal of approval from the Department of Making You Sad.
Yep.
So, they can do whatever they want. More power to them. As long as they don't decide to drive anywhere near me when I need to drive, that's great. As long as you don't infringe on my day, do whatever the hell you want.
Oh my, so many awful people driving those things. The bikes, I mean.
A lot of cool people do it too. It's just, the vast majority of them have never ridden a bicycle in their life. Or it's like their first time in like 15 years.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
What do you mean I got a signal? Like, yeah. What do you mean I got to stop at a stop sign? Yeah. You're sharing the road with us.
Car when you're on the road.
The non-poor people that have vehicles that can afford them. I'm sorry, I just don't like bicyclists. I just think it's a waste. You might not like me in my cage. I think you look like a doofus playing with a child's toy. It's okay.
The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the sponsors. Oh, wait, that's right. The guy giving the opinion is the sponsor.
Well, one of them.
Yeah, it's still between you and Oscar Martinez. By the way, let's segue that into a break. If you enjoy or would like to help us expand this show, which we've gotten better at, you saw, we figured out how to do Facebook and YouTube, and that was through hours and hours and hours of Badger sitting here in this chair going, oh my God, I'm emotionally invested in this show. Why am I emotionally invested in this show? Please, Patty, don't divorce me. I'm emotionally invested in this show. I want to make it better. We're going to go places with Patreon.com/Animal Instinct Show. This is what we call the value for value model. If you receive any sort of entertainment or educational value from this show, please consider giving to us. We ask that you give $1 per hour of airtime that we record. And you can do that at patreon.com/Animal Instinct Show. Follow the lead of your fellow guest co-host, Mystery Medic. He is a monthly supporter, if I'm correct on that, as is Oscar Martinez. So we do what we can with with the finances that we have available to us. And I'm telling you guys, I'm almost at cracking the code of doing the video stream without being on FaceTime or, on Facebook or YouTube. And I'm pretty sure that by the next show, I'm going to have the audio live stream ready to go. So exciting stuff coming down the pike. We're not just sitting here. And that also goes... We're kind of just shooting the breeze here, me and Mystery Medic today. And that goes into me not having information ready. Normally we click down some articles, and it seems to be a light week all the way around. And, that might be a Jose Fernandez factor, too, that he's totally dominating South Florida headline.
What do you mean that? You mean Zika's not a thing anymore? Because there's no correlation between microcephaly and Zika, and they're just kind of trying to keep that quiet. What was it? Sorry, I had a little nerd rage there. I remember I was talking with somebody at work, and they're like, "Yeah, because I don't want my kid to get microcephaly." I'm like, "Okay, let's look at all the confirmed cases of Zika in the United States. Now, show me one lady who's actively pregnant that gave birth to somebody with microcephaly, and it was Zika's fault. It's not that she didn't smoke crack, she didn't do drugs, she didn't get CMV, she didn't get some weird other virus that do cause microcephaly. And now let's look at all the ladies who got Zika in this one corner of Brazil. The Zika mothers. God bless them. With their tiny-headed babies. Listen, it's a shame.
Yeah.
But it's not Zika's fault.
No. Sorry.
Oh, God, I saw myself. I did this with the beard and the hat. I was like, damn Castro movements. Damn it.
Let's see. I got Uh-oh. Patty is showing that YouTube died.
I haven't been able to bring YouTube up the entire time, but that's probably just my end.
We'll do like we did a couple of weeks ago. Just run the. I'll just post up the.
Mm-hmm.
Did I not start the stream? Oh, no. Oh well, whatever's happening is I can put down. Yeah, so please do support the show. You know, like I said, we're really trying to batten down the hatches as much as we can. Am I considering the 90 minutes on Facebook? No, I off. That limits us. We can go at. By the way, Mr. Medic, what's your time frame? To the time.
I've got like maybe 30 more minutes in me.
Okay.
If that works for you guys.
I'm an all-nighter kind of guy.
Oh, I am. That's why Patty's slamming them down.
That's right. So to close out, patreon.com/Animal Instinct Show. We are here to make, guys. I mean, look, like Mr. Manic and I were talking a little while ago. The quality of the audio on this is really good. I've heard from AV people, David, who is worked in audio video as a profession. He goes, man, you guys sound really good. And ever since we put on just this Cuban straight line light, one of these fluorescent lamps on here, it's like, wow, we can see you guys. You guys are great. We're set to go for a video. It's really good quality. And tonight, I mean, Mystery Magic's got it going on over there with the we got the moving blanket and the pop filter on the mic. All set, man. Coming in loud and clear. That's what we shoot for.
Yep. I'm glad, man. Like the this is actually not a moving blanket. This is called a poncho liner. It's basically a polyester filled polyester blanket that goes on the inside of like a military poncho to keep you warm.
Right.
Or you can make it. It's like a big sleeping bag cut and open, so it's open. But yeah, this thing catches sound so well. It's kind of like a little rig that I just have up. I just tied it to like a hanger, and as you can see, it's held by books.
Whatever works.
So
man.
hey, one of those books is I think a Constitution of the United States, somewhere in there. But yeah,
a Constitution.
my rights.
I use my dad's old army trench coat, army issue trench coat last year for the winter, and when it was raining on those days, I would just put that and like a fedora on in lieu of taking an umbrella, because I need free hands on the bus because I was standing up a lot, so I needed to
For self-defense.
Yes, and that. Yeah, right. Primary reason, self-defense.
How are you going to use your silenced Walther PPQ to bring down the bad guys on the bus with your trench coat and your fedora? I remember. I've seen you in that once. I think I was at your place and I saw you that one time. You had the trench coat. And I was like, oh, this guy means business. I'm not messing with this guy out on the road.
It's
He's either a flasher, a secret agent, or a guy selling illegal things from the inside of his trench coat.
I'm the
all three scare me.
When I put that on, I feel like the Donald Sutherland character in the JFK movie by Oliver Stone.
Oh yeah, that movie's so good.
Why did they go down that way? Why was it this? Why was it that? I haven't seen that movie in a while.
You know, they did a documentary not too long ago, and this guy basically puts the Secret Service on blast and said, yeah, the Secret Service killed Kennedy. And it wasn't on purpose. It was an accident. And they show Oswald's first shot hit Kennedy, and he hit the the governor. The next shot doesn't come from above and behind. It comes from the same level because of the impact. He wasn't shot with the Carcano, whatever, 30 caliber, whatever magic bullet. He was shot with a 5.56 or a 2.23 bullet. And the only 2.23 5.56 rifle, or the M16 AR-15 style rifle there, was inside the Secret Service motorcade detachment. And it was the guy that was in the vehicle right behind them. And they show him in the video. You see him in the Zapruder film. You see him stand up, and he swings the rifle around, and it wasn't unsafe. So the first shot you hear is Oswald. The second shot you hear is Oswald missing, and then immediately after is that third crack. And that third crack is the Secret Service agent turning around, and his finger hits the trigger and shoots Kennedy in the back of the head.
What?
Yeah, it's a documentary on Netflix by some English guy. And there's a lot of credibility to it. They did an interview with the guys that were doing the autopsy. The Secret Service was rushing them through an autopsy because they didn't want to do an autopsy. They wanted to put him on the plane and get him out of there because they knew they had killed him.
That was one of the first big oversteps of federal power that people can recall in modern times, certainly. That it's like, no, listen, he died in Texas. Texas is going to do the autopsy. And
they basically pulled guns on the coroner and said,
yeah,
he's going on Air Force One.
It was an incredible overstep of authority. Wow.
And who's gonna fight the Secret Service? Who's gonna lose their job? Who's gonna lose their job first? Listen, he's already dead. I don't give a shit. Take him out of here.
Yeah.
So then they get president. To Walter Reed.
I voted for him. Sucks that he's dead, but he's not gonna do anything for me now.
So they get him to Walter Reed, and they start doing the autopsy. And you would think it would just be, the medical examiner, one assistant, and then a guy taking pictures. No, it's those three guys plus every chief of staff plus all of his security detail from the Secret Service.
Right.
So they're taking pictures, getting samples of the bullets, and it all disappears.
Wow.
All the pictures, there's a couple pictures that made it through, but pictures of the bullet fragments, a lot of them disappear. There's very few of them. The actual bullets themselves are lost. And this is all from personal interviews that they did, recorded interviews they did with guys that were there, and obviously the Secret Service guys that did all this are dead already by the time they're doing these interviews because they were all young guys working there.
Right.
That were the peons that did all this dirty work and then noticed everything disappeared.
Yeah, the Secret Service was a relatively new agency in the Department of Treasury. Yeah, it was under Truman that Congress enacted the Secret Service that you're talking about, not even 20 years before.
And the only reason that they were around was, even the Treasury Department, they didn't get guns until what? Until Al Capone and the gang busting that they were trying to do with Elliot Ness. That's the first time they got guns.
Unreal.
So yeah. And it's a really awesome documentary. And it kind of opens your like, listen, the guy who killed him knew he killed him.
Oops.
The guy knew he did it, but he wasn't going to say anything. He wasn't going to be, and the Secret Service is just like any brotherhood. They're going to protect their own. Even if you fuck up, they're still going to protect you. You're going to be that guy forever.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What good is it going to do? It's not going to bring Kennedy back.
Wow. No, I never heard that angle. I had heard the angle that the Secret Service did it.
Yeah, but it wasn't on purpose.
But you're right. I always heard the conspiratorial, because Kennedy, he wanted to abolish the Fed and shit like that. It's
it was one of those wacky Democrats. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a Democrat that was an NRA card-carrying member, a Democrat that cut taxes during his time. Yeah, he was a wacky Democrat. I think he was my father's favorite president. My father is a pro-conspiracy theory, or a pro-government conspiracy, Kennedy killing guy. And I showed him a book that I read one time by James Hosty, that was the lead FBI investigator assigned to the assassination investigation. And he goes, yeah, Oswald did it. And here's why. And then he explained that whole vacuum theory for that shot, that kill shot, that the reason his head went back was because of the velocity of the bullet and because of the displacement in such a tight space and all that, that his head jerked back.
Right.
Because of physics. Because it hit it just so.
Because science.
That it caused it, yeah.
Well, that's the thing that people don't realize.
$1 million shot.
The Carcano rifle that he was using is an old school hunting rifle, and that's made to put big holes in things. It's made to put big holes in straight lines and penetrate. The 223 is designed to use a shockwave and tumble. That's how it kills things. So when the 223 hit his head, it's like you see the autopsy photos are out there. The entire back of his head is gone. And the front of his head is fine. But if you watch the Zapruder film in slow-mo, you see the front of his head deform and flap out.
Right.
And it's like, holy crap.
Yeah, you see the movie studio style effect. Yeah.
And like that just happened. That's for real. That is not... This is way before Michael Bay. So, it was the Secret Service, man. And the viewers are like, oh my God, this tinfoil hat shit. It's like, listen, it's a not so tinfoil hat. There's science behind this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not like Bill Nye hate people that believe in creationism science. All right.
Or who don't think that everything is because of global warming. Kennedy was killed because of global warming. Trump is going to win the election because of global warming.
What was the quote I read about Bill Nye? You guys aren't smart enough to realize when you see bad science or something to that effect. And it's like, wow, thanks. You got a BS from Cornell Mechanical Engineering and you're the science guy.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you go build a fucking bridge?
He was an entertainer, man.
Yeah.
I
mean, I love him. He's a great actor. And when I was a kid in school, when you knew it was a good day when the TV cart was in your room with the VCR because it was going to be fucking Bill Nye and you were going to get to chill for an hour.
It was, yeah. You mentioned our age difference before. For me, it was Beekman.
Beekman?
Beekman's World.
Beekman's World. I remember Beekman's World.
Yeah.
That was like the cool version of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
With all the sound effects and Eliza and
Yeah.
Mr. the Rat. Yeah. I was really big into Beekman on weekends. And he taught good science. I don't know if Beekman, the actor that played him, was an actual scientist, but
no,
he got the message across. That was a really entertaining show.
He was just another one of the members of the Jew shadow government, because he was an actor, or whatever these crazy people say. I'm half Jew. I can say this shit. Don't send me hate mail. Okay, I'm being sarcastic, for the love of God.
They can't, because I don't think. I mean, we have.
There's nobody watching.
Nobody's watching. One person watching, and I'm on Facebook. So.
Oh no, not happening.
Oh, sorry.
No, I love my job. I need it. So yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yes, and we at Animal Instinct Show need you to need your job.
Yeah.
Time for a refill. I don't know what.
I lost you for a second.
Yeah, so I'm like, dog farted. Dude, the dog did eat cauliflower. I'm losing you there a little bit.
Yeah, I think my stream is gone or going.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up if you go over the next minute or two that it wraps out. But very enjoyable show. I think we salvaged out of it with the tinfoil stuff that it appears we both have an affinity for. Appreciate you coming in. Patty was telling me on the drive in, it's like, hey, you know that Mystery Medic is gonna be on, and I'm like, fine. Tells me this like I get off the bus at my parking right here. I don't know, normally around 5:30 or something. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, whatever. I'm going to Publix. I need beer because I'm doing a show tonight. I don't have beer. Thanks for filling in. So whatever fates caused our union tonight, I am grateful.
Yeah, man. If you ever need a show host or just somebody to fill in when Rhino, bails, because he always manages to bail on something. It's okay, Rhino. We love you. But yeah, man. If it's on a Wednesday, for sure I'm available if needed. Waiting in the wings.
All right, then let me cue up the music here. I'll say that's our. Where's the music? Look out, wait. I come.
Hey, Hot Wheels music.
Man, that play. That was so popular.
I went to paramedic school in the same shopping center as Hot Wheels.
Did you?
Yep, me and Rhino.
And it's still there?
Well, it's still there, but it's just not Hot Wheels anymore. It's some other roller skating rink.
Yeah, we lived not too far. That in like the Devonair.
Yeah, like it's
complex.
120 something and 124th Ave.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was Hot Wheels?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Because then you had Super Wheels in the northwest or the northern area of the Southwest.
That was,
which is where all the Hialeah people and the Westchester people went to.
Yeah.
And then all those Sawasetos went to Hot Wheels.
Wow, I didn't realize that was Devonair as a kid. I only went with like for summer camp or
yeah.
I didn't realize. Yeah, and they changed their name when we lived there. I think we first moved into that neighborhood 10 years ago, and we lived there like 8 years or so. All right, everybody, that is our show for tonight. Such big ups to Mystery Medic for joining in, filling in, doing a superb Rhino impression for tonight. Monica was confused. Chaka said, what a much better Rhino that there is out here tonight. So, Mystery Medic, thank you for appeasing the tinfoil portion of the show. It was a great show. Thank you very, very much. I don't think I can thank you enough. I can say it from here for the next minute and 15 seconds that the song is on.
Nothing. Thanks for having me, man.
Anything that you want to promote?
No, because I'm lazy.
Okay. Well, you got your podcast rig ready to go, man.
It's ready to go. Just
start talking, man. If you need help with like posting it on iTunes or whatever, man, Amazon Web Services is amazing and so cheap, and it's free for the first year for pretty high thresholds.
You get a Prime discount for that or no?
No, it's completely apart. They're independent services. But it's free. I mean, you just sign up with email and they go, hey, try it out for free for a year. And I've learned to install on Linux systems and stuff like that. So, again, thanks for joining us. Hope you go forward with that venture and let us know when you get cranking on that, man. We'll absolutely, without question. All right, everybody, that's the show for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We got 15 seconds to go. Peace out.